All right. I believe our sports network. Such a time as this, we're on bye week, and we're just getting off bye week. So we got a lot to talk about. We saw a little bit of football. Clemson didn't play this week, but we play NC State, home game, noon. And before we get started, let's just talk about a couple of sponsors. We're doing two shows. Diamonds, Gold, and Direct in Anderson we're going to do Friday night, and we're also going to do El Humidor Mexican Restaurant, which is also in Anderson Friday night. We will announce the time tomorrow, but being a noon game, it's kind of impossible to do that on a Saturday. Boneyard Cycles, they were with us last year. They renewed, and we're going to be doing the Stanford game, which, by the way, is a 7 o'clock game. They announced that, which is cool because I love night games. What else we got going on here? I don't know if a lot of people realize this going into the game. If we win Saturday's game, and I actually heard this on the radio today, and I didn't know this. Clemson will be the first team in the ACC to get their 800th win. So we'll be the first one there. If we win Saturday, it'll be 800 wins, which is a lot of wins. I don't know how long that started back in 1912 or whatever. We'll talk a little bit about maybe what we saw this weekend. Even though Clemson went involved, we saw a couple games. Saw Georgia play. We saw Texas and Arch Manning get a guy got hurt.
Oh man! After seeing Arch Manning play, man, it just kind of angers me a little bit that we did not get that guy.
Oh yeah, he visited Clemson campus.
He was not. We were number 2 on the list. Everybody thought he was going to pick us. Instead, he decided to go Texas.
I remember that. I was at Florida State game about 3 years ago, and he was actually visiting on the sidelines. I remember talking about it.
I was just like, man, could we have not have gotten that kid? Now,
granted,
that was against a high school team that they kind of faced. Like, it wasn't like any big challenge.
No.
So they had no problems like keeping Ewers out and letting him rest whatever injury he had going on. But still, he looked sharp. He looked sharp.
Yeah. Of course, they moved up number 1. Clemson actually moved up a spot. And we didn't play. So I'll take it.
I think, we got a little credit for what we did against App State, with App State winning just a little bit over East Carolina. So that kind of helped our image a little bit, I think. A couple big teams losing, I think kind of helped us move up just a little bit as well. So, but, Georgia, I have a friend who's a diehard Georgia fan. And he claims, I was kind of giving him a hard time with Kentucky almost beating them. He says that being that they got Alabama this week, that Kirby Smart was not giving out the full playbook to give Alabama anything to look at. So they were playing pretty vanilla offensive play calling. If that's what they were trying to do, I don't know. It's just what he's claiming. I'm like, sure, but it's Kentucky. You should have blown them out no matter what.
Yeah, exactly. I did not expect that.
South Carolina blows Kentucky out.
And then, that's what I was thinking. And then Georgia goes in there and barely wins.
1 point. Come on.
Well, they had that pick six that was called back that it could have gone either way. They said it touched the ground or whatever, but Kentucky could have easily won that game, and it went down to the last. Game.
Like I said, that's what I'm saying. Like, I'm just, I don't know. It might help our cause just a little bit, but I don't know.
Yeah, I did.
The game that I will say was the game of the day was that Gamecock LSU game. That was just a fun game to watch. I'm not gonna lie.
It was fun from the beginning. Did you see the pregame show?
Yeah.
Did you see that kick that got Joshua dude?
Oh, I did miss the kick.
This guy came up. Don't they tell them in advance about that stuff that they're going to be kicking?
I don't know how it's done or how they're picked. If they're picked the day of,
$35,000, I'd go out there and find a field goal and start kicking. So not only that, it was classic, man. Columbia, they're all Carolina fans down there partying early, and this guy, you could tell he had a couple of beers. His name's Joshua. I don't know his last name. And so Darius Rucker said, "I'll throw in another $15,000." So you're up to $60,000. This is a college student, $60,000 to buy you a couple dates. So they achieved anything. They achieved the worst kick ever for the captain. This dude came up and he kicked the ball. The shoe went off. The ball went backwards over his head. I don't even think you could do that if you tried again. They kicked the ball backwards. I don't know if you ever got a shoe back. 60 grand.
My son had a baseball game, and I'm an assistant coach for the team, so I kind of missed on the whole college game day pregame. So I did get home just in time to watch the voting on who they were going to pick to win the game, but you know how they do that. But
game on Carolina.
I watched that Carolina LSU game. That was just, don't get me wrong, I wasn't pulling for either one of those teams, but man, that was just a fun game to watch.
Carolina was up by 17 points one time.
Yeah. LSU came back.
And
South Carolina had the chance to win the game, and they just missed the field goal kick. I think it would have tied the game, I think. But still, I mean, look, I don't pull for South Carolina, but I'd rather them win and look good.
I told my dad this. He says he never pulls for him, but I was actually pulling for him. I wanted them to be, when they met us, I mean, I'm not a big LSU fan either, so
that's what I'm saying. Like, you know, I would rather South Carolina win all their games, and then when we play and we beat the crap out of them, then it makes us look better.
That's why I was wanting Florida State to win, you know, and like we got to play them, 2 weeks, 2 or 3 weeks, 3 weeks. And I mean, who would have thought?
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
Not
like,
looking good at all for them.
Yeah.
I mean, this guy I talked to last year, he's going to do the ACC championship game, but he had some problems with his daughter and had to go to the hospital. It's kind of a major thing. And he said, let's do a game next year. So I went and I met with him. I think it was in March. And he said right away, he goes, I want the Florida State game. Because that's the game that looked like the big game out of all of them. Because Georgia was Georgia. I mean, we knew that, but who would have thought they'd be 0-3 right now?
Dude. So, I mean, I got that, you know, the YouTube TV. So I'm watching the 4 games, and I'm keeping my eye on that. It was in the top right corner of my TV, and I'm like keeping an eye on this Florida State game. And I'm over here watching this, and I'm like, Florida State just looks bad. Like, they are just not. I mean, Memphis was just doing whatever they wanted. Florida State, DJ Uiagalelei, man, he just could not get anything going. He was getting sacked. I was just like, wow, this is just getting bad. But, you know, they're saying now, you know, Norvell is on the hot seat. Of course he is. You know, but he's
DJ got the I don't get it, man. He got an NIL deal with Clemson when they first started that stuff. I don't know what he got out of there at Oregon State, but I hear he got paid about $1 million. I mean, so I hear he's sitting on the bench this week.
Which like I said, I can see why.
I don't see him playing on Sunday.
No, he's got a baseball career ahead of him. I think that's what he's going to take.
Well, that's what he needs.
I think he wanted.
Well, I think he looks like he ought to be. It looks like a Cam Newton or something. The way he's built and everything, but he just can't get together.
I think he wanted to try and make a football career out of it and try to go to the NFL, but after this dismal performance in Florida State, I don't think his draft stock's going to be looking very well. But, you know, he was drafted by the MLB, so he could definitely enter the draft.
I'm a big football fan, but from a common sense standpoint, you're going to play longer in the Major League Baseball than you are in NFL. You're less likely to get hurt. I mean, that's the route to go. So,
absolutely.
Cade, let's see, he's 42, 55. He's got 520 yards, but basically, I understand that he's only played 1 game and a half. First game he played against Georgia. So, I mean, I look like we just lit it up, you know, and we had some momentum going. And, I mean, it's kind of just didn't want to buy a week, you know. I knew we had to have one, but I knew there were a few players.
When we were as hot as we were against Appalachian State, you kind of don't want that bye week.
No, you don't. I mean, but it's about momentum, man. You play golf, you know that.
Yeah. Well, at the same time, you know, we should get Peter Woods back now that we've had the bye week. We get a couple other guys, you know, healed up just a little bit. You know, like I said, unfortunately, we did lose some big backup defensive players for the season. So,
Yeah, the safeties.
Was it McLeod? And oh my gosh, I can't. The name just went right out my head. But the other guy that we lost to season ending. So hey, Sammy Brown said he's ready to play more because McLeod and him, I think, were kind of swapping in and out with each other. So now it's like Sammy Brown's gonna have to play a little bit more than what he was before. You know what? Hey, that works out.
That works out. I was at a gas station in Drayton, South Carolina, which is about 15, 20 miles from here, and they announced that Sammy Brown was coming to Clemson. I just remember that because I knew he's looking at Alabama and Georgia. Just remember that name. I've been talking about Sammy Brown for like 2 years. I really think he's going to be somebody we're going to talk about, like Christian Wilkins or somebody like that 5-10 years from now. Definitely, he's got the potential and, athleticism to be a beast that we'll remember and to basically be a leader on that defense, actually.
Yep.
Kind of like a Ben Boulware. I was watching a tape today, and they had Ben Boulware out there doing the what do you call it? The things that they hit up against as a coach, man. And he has that kind of passion and that kind of personality that motivates you. I think that Sammy Brown has the same thing. He's a leader. So, yeah, Sammy Brown's got a good career there. So what other games we got? We got Clemson. We got a couple games we got to pick at the show. We got a couple ranked teams playing each other. It's been a weird season so far. It started out kind of weird. We've had some upsets. We have some teams that we thought would do good that are not doing good.
Yeah, we did. We also, another injury update. We did lose another offensive line for the season. Pennington, Dietrich Pennington is out with a season with injury. Just depth on the line that, we obviously we're already thin at. So
that's not good. Well, Notre Dame, Ohio, Miami, Ohio. I'm trying to find any. We got Utah and Oklahoma State. Utah's 12. Miami, man. Miami. Let's talk about them.
Well, Miami's going to be tough.
They're 8. They got them ranked 8. They're in top 10 right now. And
but they haven't played anybody. And you can't even say that they played Florida because Florida is now 0-3. Florida and Florida State are two Florida teams 0-3 right now. So
but there's been a lot of hype about Miami for the last 2 or 3 years. And
like I said, Miami played Florida, and you can't even say that was a game because let's look at Florida. They're already 0-3. Yeah. The Miami literally has not played anybody of significance to say, is the U back?
Yeah, and I was hoping
don't get me wrong, I'm not discrediting the wins that they have. They played well, they did well.
Mm-hmm.
They made Florida look bad. But then again, Florida's making themselves look bad right now. So
right. Florida State, they're the best team in Florida, Miami. Tennessee, Oklahoma. Tennessee, their quarterback Nico looks really good. That freshman, man, he's Tennessee's the real deal this year, I believe.
Yeah. Some other updated news about the North Carolina State game too. I just saw this: North Carolina State quarterback injured, freshman quarterback to start against Clemson.
I saw that he may be questionable, so the starting quarterback's not starting.
According to this, the freshman quarterback will be starting over the other starting quarterback. So
okay.
So starting, let's see, North Carolina State has QB1. What's his name? Starting North Carolina State quarterback Grayson McCall will not play.
Okay.
I guess he got hurt in the last game. Maybe it says C.J. Bailey will be getting the starting quarterback snaps.
Okay.
So that could be some big news. That might change the the over under whatever.
Probably go up for us actually.
Let's see. Let's see what the projections say right now. It says the early lines that carried just last week had Clemson as a 7.5 favorite. Looks like now it's a 20.5.
Yeah, that's what I saw. 20. I saw that earlier.
Yeah, apparently, I guess with the starting quarterback going out, it went from 7.5 to 20.5. So
okay. All right, we'll roll with that.
I think we're going to take care of North Carolina State easily.
I think so. I think it would be more than that. I think being at Death Valley at noon
with a freshman quarterback. But then again,
one of my favorite coaches, Dave Durant.
Film on. Defense is going to have to figure out what this guy can do, what he can't do. So I shouldn't say we're going to beat them easily, because I just kind of may have put my foot in the mouth by saying that, because again, it's a freshman quarterback, no film on the guy, no nothing. Yeah. Defense is going to have to kind of figure this guy out and see what he's got, what he's going to do.
Can't hurt us. I mean, I already would have been the starting quarterback, but yeah.
Injuries seems to be plaguing the team right now, which is what we don't need. The good news is it's a lot of our backups, but that hurts the depth. So
yeah, well, not a lot of injuries. We had a bye week. Peter Woods was got scuffled up a little bit. He's back, right?
Well, I mean, if we had a game this past weekend, he probably wouldn't have played.
He wouldn't have played. Yeah, he wouldn't have made it. It wasn't like a season-ending thing.
Yeah, he was day to day, but you know.
So we got Georgia Tech, we got NC State, Stanford, and then Florida State, right? And we're in October.
Just some tidbit news. If anybody out there is a big Panther fan, if you were at the Panthers game this past weekend, you might have seen the Tiger Band playing at halftime.
Really?
Yeah, the Tiger Band played halftime at the Panthers game this past weekend, so that was kind of cool to see.
Well, speaking of that,
a friend of mine sent me a picture that was at the game saying, "Wait, is this your band on the field?" And I'm like, "Yes, it is."
I might have heard that. So Imagine Studios was there taking pictures, but they're responsible.
Oh, nice. Yeah, so
cool. We got that worked out. I know that Bryce Young's gonna be sitting down this week.
Dude, I'm a Panther fan. I know you're a Dallas fan. We won't talk about
the Panthers. I mean, look at Dallas. Dallas.
Like I said, we won't talk about what the Saints did to Dallas right now. But
I was ready. I need an extra TV. They need to sell an extra TV that I can take out the sledgehammer and just burn it with gas and beat it, because that's what I wanted to do after watching.
Like I said, I don't know. I don't know what happened with Bryce Young. You know, I would have thought he would have had a better NFL career than what he's had. But
I hate to say size, but the guy, he did it with Alabama, but still, I mean, what is he?
But Alabama had one of the best offensive lines when he was there too.
Yeah, so. NFL is a whole different ball game, man.
Yeah.
Who's their backup? Who's Carolina's backup? You know,
what's his? Oh my gosh. It's his name just went out in my head, man. He used to play for Andy Dalton.
Andy Dalton. He's been around a while. Redhead.
Yeah.
He played for Dallas.
He's not that good, though. He's not that good. You know, and I'm going to sit here, and I think I've said this before on our show before. It's the thing that baffles me is you have one of the top college teams in the nation for the last 10 years.
Uh-huh.
Clemson has been one of the top teams in this state, in the Carolinas, for the last 10 years.
Mm-hmm.
And the Panthers have not drafted one guy.
What's up with that?
One daggum guy.
You played for Clemson. You played for Clemson. You had family around here. There's no better team you want to play for than Carolina. It's right there. But
they have drafted from the Carolina Gamecocks. Please explain.
They had Bolware got on the practice team there for a while. I actually saw him when he came down here at Walford in practice. But yeah,
he went as an undrafted free agent, which it is what it is. But he went as an undrafted free agent and was cut in preseason.
Yep.
And I hate that for him, because I thought he would be like the next Luke Kuechly for the Panthers, learning under Kuechly, but for whatever reason they gave him the cut. I don't think he got a fair shot in a sense with the preseason games, because he didn't play much in the preseason games. But I don't know. I thought he would have been definitely a lot better to see, but that's the closest the Panthers have come to drafting a Clemson player, which it just blows my mind. 2-time national champion, 10 years in the playoffs,
And then
almost 10 years of being in the playoffs.
10 every year with recruits in the NFL.
How do you not draft somebody from the? You missed out on T. Higgins. You missed out on Deshaun. You missed out on Trevor Etienne. Yeah. Nuke Hopkins, Sammy Watkins. I mean, how do you not draft one of those guys?
I don't know, man. Doesn't make sense. Geographically, doesn't make sense. Like Stanford coming over next weekend and playing as Clemson.
Clemson was the inaugural season for the Panthers. That's where they played.
Yeah, they played Clemson. Was it 1 year or 2 years?
It was 1 year, one season at Clemson. But they did their training camp there this past year.
I know, because I was at the Esso Club, and they were doing that, and all these people walking around the Esso Club, and it's like, it's not football season. And it's like, not really. We're getting ready for football season. Yeah, I was at the Esso Club there. They had that game or that practice where everybody came and saw. But, yeah, you would think so. So anyways, yeah, I was at the gym today. I worked out. I was talking to a guy just about 12-team playoffs. And, I mean, I'm excited about that. And I think they got it right this time. Man, I really do. I don't think it needs to go any further out, but I think 12-team playoff is where they need to be.
It's 12-team playoff is where it should have been when it.
We don't need to be basketball and get big and 32 people like that. But I mean, that gives everybody on the outside a chance, and it gives the division winners, the ACC winner and the SEC winner, free bye. Gives you time, home field advantage. I think it's perfect.
Now, my next agenda, if you will, as a fan. Yeah. Is to get rid of preseason rankings.
Yeah, well,
I
said, well, nothing really matters till we get to December in the college rankings.
That's what I'm trying to say.
I was in Atlanta, Georgia. I think Clemson was number 2. You probably remember this. And I think we're undefeated. This was in 18 or 19, 18, 17, 18. I think it was 18. And I'm sitting there in the hotel room down in Atlanta, and I'm looking at the TV and waiting on, they got Alabama, they got Ohio State, and they get to number 4, and I'm like, I'm surprised they hadn't called us. And all of a sudden, I don't forget who they called, Oklahoma or somewhere, for number 4. And I'm like, what in that? And we were number 5. You remember that? We went from like 2 to 5 because I think the game we played before, we played a not so good team and barely beat them. And then you're just like praying that they got in there. But I mean, with 12 teams, it gives you a little bit of leeway. I mean, we're talking about like in the beginning, before they had the college playoffs, you basically had the Rose Bowl and the Orange Bowl, and you had the 1 playing the 3 and the 2 playing the 4, and really the math wasn't good. The 4 beat the 1 and the 2 beat the 3. I mean, it just left out a lot of mathematical, a lot of people that had a chance to deserve a chance to.
I think there's too much emphasis on what you're ranked when you first come out of the season. Like you haven't even played a game yet, and you're saying Georgia's ranked.
I agree with you there, man. I don't know if they have to rank them. I mean, I guess the first game, you're like Clemson's playing non-ranked.
And you got the rankings are done by media people voting.
Yeah.
And then after week 1, you got these same media people who didn't watch the game. They just look at the final score and say, "Oh, this team lost by that much. I'm all right. I'm going to vote, whatever." And so you got all these people that are voting that aren't really watching all the games. They're going off what the final score is, and they're voting. And you got this big gap between some teams, and then you get Notre Dame who loses to NIU. Just in my opinion,
let them play in the side.
Take out the preseason rankings, and you get like middle of the season, like where all the teams have played like 6 or 7 games.
Yeah,
that's half the season right there. Right. Now you can start ranking the teams based on how they've played, because some teams play better as they they start to get momentum, they start to get better. Clemson's one of those teams. Playing Georgia, ranked number 1 at the first game of the season, it kind of demoralizes you as a fan and whatnot when you get beat by 30-something points or whatever, and then you come out the next week and blow Appalachian State 66 points. I don't know. I just feel like
I agree with you. I mean, look at Florida State. Look at Florida State.
So now you got So you got Florida State that's ranked number 10, plays Georgia Tech in Dublin, Ireland. Mm-hmm. Georgia Tech beats them, right? Mm-hmm. So now there's this little lull in the schedule because Florida State played Georgia Tech almost a week ahead of everybody else. So then they had to play on Monday against Boston College. And you can't change Florida State's ranking because none of the other teams had played yet.
Yeah.
So now you have to kind of adjust the rankings. Well, now Boston College and Georgia Tech now look like they beat a top 10 ranked team when they did.
I agree with you, man.
So it just, to me,
I agree with that.
I hate rankings. I hate the way we do rankings.
Well, I just hated back in the day before in the college playoffs. I thought it was great, but it was only 4 teams. But before that, it was really hard to win a national championship. I mean, you had to be in
hard to do that, but
you had to be in the Rose Bowl, Orange Bowl. You had to be in the top 4. You were out. There's no chance at all for that. But I think they got it right for 12. I don't think they need to go up from there. But I'm excited to see the
12 is enough. I mean, you're now finally.
Well, it ain't like basketball. You can't play a game, turn around, and play another one right after that.
Yeah. Well, but you're giving these schools a chance, like UCF.
Yeah, that went undefeated for 2 years.
You're giving Boise State a chance. You're giving Northern Illinois a chance. You're giving Memphis a chance. You're giving all these schools that has never had a chance to finally have their Cinderella season and Cinderella story chance to go in there and actually compete against some of these big schools. Now, I know highly likely that they're going to get blown out in the first round of the playoffs, but you know what? They're being given their chance. You know who's
got my attention? This always had our attention. It's Alabama. Alabama looks like the real deal this year. They killed Wisconsin.
Again, I mean, they played Wisconsin. I will say I will give some good credit on the fact that they finally went and played a Power 5 school in an actual Power 5 stadium.
And they got
a neutral site.
Yeah.
I don't know if they ever.
I was like worried about Saban leaving, and I mean, I think they're going to be all right. I don't know about this new coach.
Wisconsin is not a bad team, but they're not that good.
They got whooped. It's pretty.
If you would have put Alabama against Wisconsin a few years ago when Wisconsin was actually a pretty decent team, it might have been a different story.
Yeah.
But again, I don't think Alabama will be playing in the SEC championship this year. I think it's going to come down to I don't even know how they're doing. I think they took away the divisions in the SEC as well. But Georgia's got Alabama next week. Let's see. Hold on, let me pull this back up.
Georgia's got Alabama. Georgia beat Alabama.
Georgia plays Alabama, and Georgia also plays Texas.
Not this week. The next week. Texas is going to beat Georgia. I'm telling you.
Yeah, hold on.
Texas might win it all. I think Texas might win it all.
Dude, Texas is looking really good right now. Yeah. I mean, really good.
I mean, either way, whether they get their starting quarterback back or they got Arch Manning, they're okay in the quarterback position.
Yeah. Miami is ranked number 8, and they're playing South Florida. When is Miami actually going to play somebody? To really know if they're that good.
I'm hoping they would play us this year because we
Tennessee plays Oklahoma. That could be a good matchup.
Yeah. I think Tennessee ought to be in the top 4. Tennessee, I think, can beat Alabama.
All right. Where is this?
But
Georgia actually might be on a bye week, but they do play.
They might be. Georgia Bulldogs.
Hold on. I'll get you here in a second. Here we go.
Georgia.
Yeah, Georgia is on a bye week.
A lot of teams are
so on 9/28, Georgia and Alabama will play.
Yeah, the week after this week.
Notice Georgia did drop down from number 1 to number 2. Texas took the number 1 spot,
which is
so Alabama will play Georgia on 9/28, and then Georgia has Auburn after that, Mississippi State after that, and then Texas on 10/19, and then they got Florida right after, and then they go and play Ole Miss. So Georgia's got, and then Tennessee after that. Man, Georgia has a schedule. Georgia has a tough schedule.
Yeah, they got a real tough schedule. Maybe the
So
toughest.
could Georgia lose? I'm going to go ahead and put a loss.
I don't think
on
Georgia.
the Texas game.
Yeah, I think Georgia's going to get beat
lose
by
Texas.
Texas.
I think they're going to lose that. Ole Miss, that might be another loss.
Ole Miss sitting at number 5, 3-0. Ole Miss
Tennessee, Tennessee, could they lose to Tennessee? Although they are playing in Athens.
Who is Ohio State played? That's my question.
Nobody. They don't ever.
You ever
play
notice Ohio State? It's almost like politics. Ohio State, no matter what they do, they're in that top 1, 2, or 3 every freaking year.
It's because of the name alone. It's like
a money deal, man. I think they bring in more money than any other college. They're in the top 5.
Literally.
It's really Ohio State ain't number 3 this year, and I'm not a big Jason Day fan.
Here you go.
But
Notre Dame always gets a high ranking because they're Notre Dame. Period.
Yeah, and then they lose to Northern Illinois.
All right, let's see here. So Ohio State played.
Notre Dame's that same team that gets ranked high every year, and they don't deserve it.
Yeah,
and they prove everybody wrong. That they didn't.
Ohio State played Akron, won 52-6. The next week they played West Michigan, won 56-0.
Yeah.
They play Marshall this weekend.
So they had a bye last weekend. So they ain't played nobody.
Yeah. So 9/21 they play Marshall. Okay.
Right.
Then they go and they play Michigan State at Michigan State. But I mean, Michigan State is 3-0, but I don't think they're going to win that game.
No.
Then they got Iowa. Then they have Oregon. Now that's going to be their true test.
Yeah, Oregon maybe beat them.
Oregon's sitting at number 9 right now, currently. Yeah. Then right after the Oregon game, they play Nebraska. Nebraska looked good against Colorado. Then Ohio State plays Penn State in Penn State. That's the 11-2 game. That'll probably be a whiteout game.
Penn State's going to beat them.
Then Purdue, which, I mean, Notre Dame just beat Purdue like 70-something, then whatever. Then they got Northwestern, Indiana, and then Michigan. But we already know that Michigan's not as good as they perceive to be. So Ohio State has literally a very easy schedule.
Very easy.
I could maybe see a loss to Penn State.
All right.
Maybe a loss to Oregon.
Top 5 teams you got.
Penn State and Oregon could be the 2 games that they lose. I don't think they'll lose. I don't think Ohio State will lose to Michigan this year.
They've lost last 3 years or 2 years?
3. 2 years for sure. 2 years for sure, I know. Yeah. And it might be 3 years, but I know 2 for sure.
Yeah. This is what I got. If I was to rank top 5, I got Texas number 1. I've got Tennessee at number 2. Well, yeah, Tennessee at number 2.
USC and Michigan play this weekend. That could be a good matchup.
That's a good game. Georgia 3.
That's a 2:30 game on CBS.
Yeah. Alabama at 4, Ole Miss at 5.
UCLA versus LSU.
You kind of look at Ole Miss, man. Ole Miss is always up there in top 10 every freaking year, and something happens. I mean, I'd like to see them get into it this year.
Georgia Tech and Louisville will play on ESPN2 at 3:30.
Louisville's on team.
They might win that game.
Huh?
I said it's Georgia Tech versus Louisville. Louisville is ranked number 19, but
they ain't playing nobody. They're 2-0.
Based on how I've seen Georgia Tech play against Florida State and Syracuse, man, Georgia Tech might win that game.
They might. Georgia Tech's a lot better than they were last year and the year before.
Yeah. So
hey, they got Northern Illinois.
Weekend. By the way, Vegas has Clemson beating North Carolina State at an 88% chance.
I'll take that.
On that is the Vegas odds, 88%, slightly down from 90% last week.
All right. So we got NC State, 12 o'clock. We got Stanford at 7 o'clock next week. Then we go to Florida State. I mean, I was worried about the game beginning of the season. I'm not too worried about that. Wake Forest, we play at Wake Forest.
Yeah.
It was a test. Virginia, they're not too good. We
Like
played.
I said, I think if Clemson wins all the games out, they win the ACC championship. We could have the first week bye.
You know, to be honest with you,
out
of all these teams we play, the scariest game I think for us is Carolina, just because it's a rivalry game. But
Carolina is looking. I'm not gonna lie, Carolina. I mean, the way they played against
Kentucky, beat
Kentucky,
LSU. They did some stupid. They made some stupid mistakes. And it's a rivalry game. But I mean, Pittsburgh, the Citadel, Virginia Tech, Louisville. Louisville's 19. We'll see. We play them November 2nd at Clemson, which helps. Virginia's not too good. Wake Forest at Wake Forest. I mean, we should be all right. But if we went out, I think we'll play Miami.
I don't know if we'll get a first week bye, so we may be having to play the first round playoff at home.
We just got to win the ACC championship, right? We got to bye, right?
Well, no, not necessarily.
What top 14?
It's awarded. The first round bye is awarded to the highest ranked conference champion.
Okay, gotcha.
So if we're not the highest ranked conference champion,
how many conferences are they taking on this?
all of them.
All of them that are ranked. So you can win your conference and you're not going because you've got the SEC, ACC.
Yeah. Well, like I said,
Big Ten.
You got all the conferences. Like I said, NIU, Memphis, all those teams are now got their shot.
Yeah. I love it, man.
Liberty, that's another team to look out for.
I want Clemson to go all the way. I want to see some weird team like Liberty or something get in there and go for a run.
But, like I said, it goes down to the highest ranked conference champion.
Mm-hmm.
So I think it's 4 games, 4 weeks, 4 teams get a bye.
Yeah.
And so that could be, SEC, Big Ten, ACC, Big 12.
Yeah.
And if you haven't been keeping up with some of the news, by the way, Pac-12 is back.
Okay.
Pac-12 with Oregon State and one of the other original member teams, and I cannot think of the name right now. It came out news that 2026, 2025, I think.
Mm-hmm.
They have added Fresno State, a few other schools on the California side.
Mm-hmm.
So the Pac-12 is rebuilding.
Okay.
It is not complete like a lot of people thought. They are rebuilding. They have rebuilt.
And
we're in the process.
Something went on with Florida State in that lawsuit this week. I saw something. But we'll see. We'll see in 2 years if we're in the ACC.
I mean,
I don't really care at this point. I mean,
the problem is, though,
I was talking to the guy at the gym today, and it's like, look, man, I get it, man. I mean, if I'm honest about it, transparent about it, the SEC, football-wise, I think, is a better conference. But the bottom line is the way it's set up with the playoffs, and then you got if you win your conference, I mean, all you got to do is win out. Win your games, you're good. But it would be nice to have Alabama, Georgia, LSU, all these power teams on our schedule.
Yeah.
Or we'll just say, hey, we're the best basketball conference, but football.
Well, I think actually Clemson's playing a home and home versus LSU. So LSU comes to Clemson, and then we go to LSU.
What, next year?
I believe so. I think next year we do a home and home. Like next year, I think LSU comes to Clemson, and then we go to LSU. I don't know if that's confirmed or not. I saw something that said that. I don't know if that's legit, but that would be fun.
I'd like to see Alabama, LSU, Georgia. I'd like to see them on their schedules more, than a Citadel or whoever. I mean,
I just don't want it to be the first freaking game.
Last time we played Alabama on regular season was like 2007 or something, and they killed us. And it was an opening game, I believe. Yeah, because I remember watching.
Like I said, I just don't want it to be the first game of the season. At least let us have a warm-up game, man.
Well, no, usually it's like Citadel or Troy or somebody like that, or Walford.
Say, give us a tune-up game, man. Let us work.
Then we got. I know, really. it should be that for every team. Every team is ranked in the top 10 or 20. You shouldn't have to play a top 10 team or top 20 team. Right?
And I get it. It's great for TV purposes. It's great for face there.
Noon game in Atlanta.
Games. But then I look at it like this: if you don't have a team that's ranked, like if you're showing Georgia and Clemson, and you don't have
a warm-up game,
whatever.
Let's get a Citadel offered. Everybody get a warm-up game, and then get into it.
Yeah.
You hadn't played all year, but I mean, I think if we play Georgia again, like we played them next week or this week, we'd give them a better. We may even beat them. I don't know.
Dude, I'm telling you,
game, you don't know what's going on. Nobody's got out there.
I'm telling you, we could have beat them. We should have beat them. We should have beat them. So
we just didn't have that.
So North Carolina State, 12:00 p.m. Put it on your calendars. I believe
all right. It's good.
Let me real quick give you the TV station for a lot of people that like to ask on I Bleed Orange. What channel is Clemson playing on? I see those questions a lot, man. It's kind of funny. All right, it's going to be 12:00 p.m. on ABC/ESPN Plus. If you're a DirecTV customer, you do have ESPN back.
Yeah.
So
you got it back.
We'll find another way. It will be on ABC. 12:00. Let's go and take care of them Wolfpack.
Let's do it. Get that 800 win. First ACC team to get 800 wins. 800 wins is a game. I mean, they said that. I'm like, that's a lot of wins, man. I don't know how many you got to get a year to do that. But
and let me just say this to a lot of fans out here.
Yeah.
That are the Dabo hating, Dabo like not doing the portal, Dabo this. Look, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 ACC championships. 2 national titles.
Well, three actually.
The most winningest coach in Clemson history.
5 appearances in the national championship. Yeah.
Winningest coach in Clemson history. And there's fans out here trying to say he needs to be fired because he doesn't go to the portal.
Right.
We've had a few seasons of not what we're used to.
Florida State and Colorado do.
Like I said, I get it. We've had a few seasons of not where we have been for the last 10 years.
Yeah.
But come on, man.
Yeah.
Stop putting this we need to fire Dabo stuff out there.
Yeah.
The man has done wonders with this team, this college. He's built a legacy.
Yeah, I agree.
How do these people want to fire a coach that's won that many ACC titles? Two-time national titles. Like, come on.
I mean, once you're at the top, you want to stay at the top, and it's.
I get it. You know,
you're talking to a Cowboys fan. We haven't had a Super Bowl since 1996.
Saban did
it every year. Georgia's not going to do it every year.
Yeah,
they did it last year.
Saban's what? 7-time national title winner.
Saban's the GOAT as far as that goes.
I get it. He's
somebody takes his
I will say it to this day. Alabama was paying players way before it was allowed to be, and they know it. And Saban almost pretty much admitted it one day on game day. But you know good and well that a lot of those championships were won based on how much was given out prior.
Little Johnny goes to Alabama, he goes to Georgia, he goes to Clemson. He's got $5 in his bank account. 2 days later, he's got a brand new BMW. How do you buy a BMW, $5 in your bank account? It's been going on forever, man. I mean, Danny Ford got in trouble one time for buying somebody a freaking biscuit at Bojangles, man. You hear about that?
And then Danny Ford was let go because of something that boosters did.
Yeah. That's the story behind that. I'm not going to get into it. But
Danny Ford should have never been let go for something that he had nothing to do with.
Danny Ford I love Danny Ford, man.
If Danny Ford was there,
he was in your face, like it is.
When he got let go, I guarantee you we would have had another national title.
Oh, yeah.
And he would have gotten us through to about the 90s range.
Yeah.
Then he could have retired as a coach. And then here we get, here comes Dabo swing.
Behind every great team is a great coach, period.
Yeah.
And I know the coach can get on the field, but, if you look at any great team, there's always a great coach behind it.
Yeah.
But anyways, we'll get a sponsor on here next week.
Check.
Leave the Clemson tomorrow. Check us out on it. We'll post the times of the shows we're doing Friday. Come
Shows
tailgate
are
with us.
Friday night or Friday night.
Friday night. We're
Friday
gonna
night.
do probably gonna do one at 4 and one at 6. I mean, I can't do it on
Okay.
Saturday.
And
Let's
one
go.
of them is at the Diamonds and Gold Direct.
Golden Wreck in Anderson, main drag going into Anderson. It's Bold Belvedere Plaza or something like that. They've won like the 15 years in a row as being the best gold and diamond place in the upstate, and El Humidor. And we're going to do that one in Clemson. It's like on the main Clemson Avenue going out toward Lake Hartwell. But he opened a new one. He's got like 4 of them, and it's to die for. I'm not always Mexican. Usually, my first go-to food, but they got a cheesesteak burrito that's just I can't get over it. It's unbelievable. It's the best Mexican food I've ever had. It's really good. So follow us. We'll be YouTube. We'll be live at the I Bleed Orange page and also Sports Network.
Yep,
streaming live.
And don't forget, if you need parking this Saturday for the
Golden Gate at Clemson.
Call up Golden Gate.
I think
Clemson.
we're going to be there parking. We may even do a shout out while we're there.
Yeah, they got some good parking. 12 minutes away from the stadium. They provide a shuttle.
Back and forth.
To and from. So check out Clemson Golden Gate Clemson parking. Check them out.
Right. And
any other sponsors you need to mention?
Let's see. Well, everybody knows Pendleton Candy Company, Pendleton Square. I mentioned Boneyard. When you're looking for a motorcycle, Boneyard Cycles, we're doing the Stanford game there. I mean, there are a bunch of them I can mention. New Teak Boutique in downtown Pendleton, Rains on Main in downtown Pendleton. What else? Tiger Liquor, Back Road Barbecue. He actually, Tiger Liquor is a sponsor of ours, and Backyard Barbecue is actually going to be set up at Tiger Liquor during the home games. You can go to our site or go to his site, and you can actually pick up your tailgate going in off 176. Barbecue's to die for. Wake and Bake, of course. We're going to do another show over at Clemson Marina. Dan told me which one yet, but we did the Georgia game there. You need a boat. What we want to do is the next show. What we want to do is get on a boat during a home game and make sure we got all the internet and all, and go out there by the stadium and do the show where we're on the lake with the stadium behind us. That's what we're planning on doing. So sometime in October or November, we're going to work something out with them. So, pretty cool place.
Nice.
Pendleton Bar and Marina. They got a bar, marina, and a grill there. You can watch the game there, and you can eat and have a beer. So
I like it.
Yeah.
All right. Well,
we'll be back next week.
Beat North Carolina State and go Tigers.
Yep. Let's do it. All right. Good deal. See you next week.
All right.
All right.